Hi everybody and welcome to this week's Growth Execution webinar. My name is Mal McCallion from Growtion.co. We are here every week to help you with a business growth challenge. This week we're focusing on what should my targets be. Okay, so how do you know where your business ought to be going? It was the Roman philosopher Seneca who said that if you don't know which way the ship is going, then no wind can be favorable. And that is true of your business, as it is of many other things. So when you are thinking about either launching or scaling or growing your business, you need to have the visualization of the future and where you and it are going to get to. So that's what this is all about. 15-20 minutes, a real quick hit of information, solid growth execution assistance. If you want to reach out to us, we're live on Facebook on the Growth Execution group right now. This will be released some weeks later on YouTube on our channel there. But if you want this live, then do join us in the Growth Execution group on Facebook. It is free. We look forward to welcoming you in there. There is a huge bunch of a great community, other entrepreneurs, growth leaders in there that are going to be able to help you on your growth challenges along the way too. So let's focus in though today on what should my targets be. All right. So what I wanted to start on is just about the growth execution formula in itself. This is an interlocking series of 15 elements spread across 3 distinct disciplines: product, marketing, and sales. And today's topic, all about targets, is in the 13th of those 15, which is sales goals. All right, so each and every one of these is designed to help you get a real crystal clear understanding and a grip on how to grow your business. And as we will see, sales targets, sales goals is a really critical piece of it. So what I wanted to do was just kind of give you a sort of broad brush across the next 3 years. All right, so this is early 2021. What we want you to be thinking about when you're thinking about how to create your targets for the whole of next year is what are things going to look like in 3 years' time? So what are things going to look like in 2024, early 2024? Now, it will not have passed you by that things happen that are unpredictable. I think if anything, 2020 has taught us that in particular, that, you can have the best laid plans, but then, a pandemic will hit, other stuff will go on and life changes. And that's of course true. But that's not to say that your targets or your goals are incredibly useless or that they should not be put in place in the first place. Businesses that have goals, that have targets, are more successful than those that do not. All right, so businesses that have goals, have targets, are more successful than those that do not. Why is that? Basically because whatever happens, they still have their eyes firmly on what the prize is. Okay, they have done that visualization. They have sat and thought about what the next 3 years should look like at the end of it. And then when things come along, like pandemics, like complete upheavals, like new competitors coming into the market, like massive businesses like Amazon suddenly deciding to reach across into their market, then they can still know why they're doing what they're doing. Okay, and what it is that they're going for, and the how that they get there is able to change along the way. All right, because the mission itself is so important. The steps that you actually get or that you take to get to that goal, they don't necessarily have to pan out exactly as you had planned, but it's only by having that kind of resilience of knowledge around this is what my target is, this is what we are here to do, that enables you to get through some of these real challenges that you will inevitably face. One hopes that it will not be anything quite as dramatic as a pandemic in the next 3 years, or another one. But even if it is, then those businesses, your business, if you have thought about what month 36 is going to look like, then you're going to be in a position where you are much better prepared and much more resilient towards whatever comes your way. So let's fast forward then 36 months in the future. This is February 2021. So let's talk about February 2024. What you are going to be doing at that point is you're going to be sitting with your business. All right, you will have grown it through that period, and you will have in your mind now an idea of what that feels like. Okay, so the first thing you've got to do is just get a sense of, right, what am I going to be doing? Am I going to be highly vested still in this business? Am I going to be working all the hours that I possibly can to continue to build the value of the business? Am I going to be in a different position from a career perspective? You know, if I'm working within a business that is growing, am I going to have escalated to higher levels? Do I want to, in fact, have divested myself of this particular business, of this particular entity, and move on to something else? Only you can answer this. All right, only you can think, right, month 36 from now, what do I want to be doing? And it's a very personal thing. You know, it could be that you want to be sitting on a beach. It could be that you want to have acquired all of your competitors and be on your way to, you know, another 3-year plan, another 3-year plan after that. So by having this visualization in your mind, and it's no secret that, you know, successful sports people, successful people in all walks of life have this idea that they have a goal in mind. They have somewhere that they are aiming for and setting out to achieve. So whatever yours is, think about that. Think about what profit your business, or what salary you're going to need to be drawing, or what savings you're going to need to have put aside in month 36, and that then becomes the goal. All right, that 3 years is not too far in the future that you can't visualize it, that all manner of random things will happen. It is not so close that you don't have that kind of room to really create a vision, that room to really kind of dream about what month 36 might look like. So get that idea in your mind, think about what month 36 looks like, and then work backwards from there. So if you have a requirement for a certain level of profit for your business at that point, or you have a certain level of profit/salary for you personally at that point, then you need to put that down. Okay, you need to have that in your mind. You need to know what that is, because by knowing what that is, then you are going to be in a position to chase it down in the events of in any eventuality, or in the eventualities of what might come to pass during that intervening period. So what you then want to do is say, right, if that is 100% in month 36, year 3, that's what I'm aiming for. Then I want to row back into year 2. So that's up to month 24, and then back to year 1 up to month 12. And broadly speaking, and this is a very broad generalization, it is the case that if you think about what year 3 is 100%, then in year 2 you need to get to 35%. All right, so about a third of that. And in year 1 you need to have got to 10% of what you want in year 3. All right, so again, we're looking at targets here. There can be personal targets, there can be business targets, but we're looking at how you split those down over the next 3 years. If you then have year 3, month 36, 100%, you have month 24 at 35, and you have month 12 at 10%, you can then start to calculate along essentially like a kind of hockey stick curve how you're going to get to those milestones along the way. All right, again, this is a very broad guide, but it gives you the structure to think about how you are going to get to that month 36 target. All right, so you want by the end of year 1 to be at 10%, by the end of year 2 to be at 35%, by the end of year 3 to be at 100% of what that dream is for you. All right, so that's your start point. The next real question then is what kind of qualities are you going to need to get through and to get to those to get to those numbers? And the 2 most effective attributes to delivering on that 3-year plan are curiosity and resilience. Okay, now curiosity is an absolute requirement for those that are involved in any growth industry. You have to look at what's going on around you. You have to be curious enough about how growth is happening in other sectors, in other businesses, and your competitors, and how it's working out for you as well. So that curiosity is a really, really key part of everything around your business growth and how you're going to be able to achieve your targets. Resilience, and that's coming down. It's coming down hard because you need to be really strongly resilient. You need to put that kind of marker in the sand of, right, I am going to get through this, because it is inevitable that the path you travel will not be the one that you lay out here on day one. All right, it just can't be. As we've touched on, pandemics hit, competitors arise, all sorts of other things happen to the economy. So it is the goal that's important. How you get there is going to be a measure of your resilience, and it's going to be a measure of your curiosity. It is going to require from you a lot of kind of emotional investment. And it's going to need you to bring other people along with you as well. All right. So these things, curiosity, resilience, things that others respond to as well. And those others that you're going to need to bring along with you aren't just the kind of obvious ones like your team or your customer base. It's also going to be people like your significant other, if you have one. It's going to be people who are invested in the business, the senior team, and so on. So these are really important traits that you need to nurture in yourself, and you need to perhaps look back at the last year and draw great strength from what you've been able to get through, because whether you are launching and starting fresh in this year, or whether you are looking to relaunch, rebuild, or just go again at the market, then these are the things that you need to be focused on, and you need to be making sure you don't lose track of. All right, so those are the qualities that you're going to need as you go into the next sort of 3-year plan. How do you actually get that set up? How do you work on the different areas that you want to get to? So there's 3 distinct things here. It's what your profit you want to be is, what the revenue you want to be is, and what the narrative you want to be is. All right, each of these is really important. So obviously profit, that can be, again, what your kind of savings are if you're on a personal plan over the next 3 years, or from a business perspective, what the difference will be between your revenue and your cost. From the revenue side of things, again, do you want to be a £1 million business? Do you want to be a £10 million business? By articulating what that target is, you are then going to be in a position to understand that hockey stick curve. So that's month 36 is 10 million. Then you've got to try and get to 3.5 million by the end of year 2. You've got to get to 1 million by the end of year 1. All right, that's how these things pan out. So you've got to understand what that curve looks like and where you're going to find that revenue. All right, and that's why this plan and this targeting is so important, because it asks you the right questions. How are you going to get that revenue together? Where are you going to dig to find that gold? And by giving yourself that vision and that view of the future, it will require you to make those judgments, to understand what is possible and what is not. And if 10 million in month 36 is really the target, who are you going to need to get on board? What kind of investment are you going to need to get, if any? What other competitors are going to come into the market once they see how successful you're being, and so on. So revenue, really important side of things as you look to the horizon in the next 3 years. And the third one is really important as well, and something that often gets lost in just the pure numbers target, and that is what's the narrative? Okay, what do you want the story to be? What do you want to turn around and be telling people, or for people to be looking at you and telling themselves about that journey that you have made over the last 3 years? So in February, March 2024, what will people be saying about you, and what will you be telling yourself has happened? And that is another really critical piece of building out your 3-year plan, your targets for the next 3 years, because by making it into a story and making it into a narrative, thinking about yourself telling others what has happened, you are again requiring yourself to do some of the really deep work, some of the emotional stuff that is going to make a difference, the difference between you succeeding and not succeeding on this particular challenge. All right, so those are three absolutely critical areas for you to think about as you try and build your targets for the next 3 years. So that's the kind of core, that's how. What I also wanted to do is, as we do every single week, is look at a kind of recommendation of what might help you to execute on this growth. Aside from the rather obvious things like a spreadsheet and so on, you're going to need to be able to incentivize others to come along the journey with you. And one of the great recent additions to kind of company incentivization schemes is something called Perkbox. It's just a really smart way of rewarding your teams for hitting certain targets. What comes off the back of your 3-year plan clearly is a number for how many people you're going to need and a number for how much revenue each of those people is going to be responsible for. So when they hit those targets and then they go above, you are going to need to have some kind of scheme in place that's going to help you and them to really focus on what's important and make sure that those things come in. So Perkbox is really great for that. If you want to know how to structure an incentivization plan, what does 100% look like? What does 80% look like? What does 120% look like? Get in touch with us. Do check out the Growth Execution group on Facebook. More than happy to help you out there. Loads of people in there too. But Perkbox itself is a kind of as something to aim for, a real structured way of making sure that your team are on the same journey as you and that they're sharing in the benefits of all of their hard work. So that's it for this week in terms of how do I hit my targets. I hope you've got something from this week's Growth Execution webinar. There is plenty more for you to go and have a look at online. If you go to growtion.co, growtion.co, there's 15 different products in there that you can get, most of them free, that will help you to launch, scale, exit your businesses, and also help you often in the kind of personal side of things as well. So thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.